Hello, I'm Laura from Scratchworks Theatre Company. We've had a request from Miss Grimes at Oldfield School to provide a short workshop on Foley artistry from home, as I believe the Year 10 drama students are creating a radio play, which is really cool. And of course, it might be useful or interesting to anyone else who wants to experiment with creating sound effects, because it's quite a lot of fun. So, as you may know, Foley artistry is the creation of sound effects. It's someone's job, in any TV show or film, any Hollywood movie, every single noise is recorded by a Foley artist. So that might be footsteps down the streets, all the background noise, car chases, even the lightsabers in Star Wars. A Foley artist has recorded them all. But it can also be used really effectively in theatre as well. And it's what we used in our show Nell. We used it as a theatrical device, and we were inspired by the noises that everyday objects that you see that I have around me, all these random everyday objects, these can be used to create sound effects. So I've got a box of stuffing that I just got from Sainsbury's, and when you buy it, the stuffing itself comes inside a little plastic bag that's in the box. So you need to open it up and pour the stuffing out of the plastic bag and pour it directly into the cardboard box and just throw the bag away, because you need to be able to hear the stuffing granules inside to make the sound. And what you'll also want to do is you want to tape around the edge of the box, which you can see I've done not very elegantly. So when you move it, stuffing granules aren't flying everywhere. Otherwise it can make a bit of a mess. Okay. So I wonder what came to your mind, but we use it in a couple of shows to make the sound of a steam train. So I've got a hot water bottle here, and this can be used to make a really cool noise. You need one that's bridged, as you can see here, and a smooth surface I've used my kitchen counter, and I want you to have a listen and see what comes to mind. One more. Sorry, it's not the most pleasant, but this is used by actual Foley artists to create the sound of cars screeching round the corners and screeching to a halt, and I think it sounds really effective. An electric toothbrush on its own sounds like this, which could be interesting, but if you add a saucepan, it can start to sound maybe a bit like a chainsaw. Have a play and see where it sounds good. That bit sounds good. That bit sounds good, yeah. Have a listen. You can get really detailed into the sound that a single character makes, even into the sound of their clothes. So if you've got an anorak, or a coat or an item of clothing that rustles quite nicely, you can experiment with character sounds, because even their clothes kind of brushing past each other will make some really detailed sounds. You can experiment with how fast they're walking. Maybe they're rushing somewhere, or maybe they're running. Now this can be very subtle, and if you were doing this on a microphone, you might edit the levels so it's really detailed, but it's nice to have a play.
Hey, I'm Alice, and today I'm going to show you a few more sound effects you can do with a seemingly random array of household objects. So we're going to start off using a grubby old tea towel for our first sound. Ideally, you want a piece of fabric that's not too stretchy, but you can actually use anything. And what we're going to do is create a heartbeat. Listen quite closely. It is a quiet sound effect, so listen closely. So all you do is pinch the material really tight, and you can create a heartbeat. So that's a really good one for setting the mood. Let's just make sure you can hear it nice and clearly. And have a play around with different types of fabric, because the thickness and the material that the fabric's made from will affect the type of a heartbeat. One of the joys of making Foley sound effects at home is that you might have some objects that might surprise you. So this is just a juggling ball, but close your eyes for this one. It's like a bit like the sound of someone walking along a gravel path. Now, you might have a gravel path outside your house or you might not. So you can improvise with different things you can find. Another really good one for setting the mood is just some standard kitchen tinfoil. Have a listen to what sound you think this creates. So I'm going to hold the foil above my microphone on my phone, just so you can hear what it might sound like. And close your eyes for this one. So it could be a rainstorm on a tin roof. Foley is all about experimentation, so I found this. Let's see what different sounds it can make. How about something like this? Try that one again. Okay, and what about something really gentle like this? And how about so you can let your imagination be inspired by the object a lot of the time. Go, oh, so there was a sort of crashing sound, there was a sound of someone walking on a soft surface, maybe on sand, and then another rain option. Play around, get inspired by the sounds you can make, and sometimes let that influence your story. Because it's sometimes really hard to say, oh, I want to create this sound effect of a roller coaster. That might be impossible in your environment. So see what sounds you can make and sometimes let those inspire your story. Of course, if you're making a radio play, your listening audience is not going to see all the clever ways you made your Foley sound effects. But if you're maybe in the future making a theatre show, a play like we did, you can make it part of the show, that you show the audience how the sounds are made. And you can add a little bit of theatricality. So in our show, Nell, we used rubber gloves to make the sound of flapping bird wings. Imagine a pigeon walking around the park and suddenly it takes flight and you can hear its wings beating together. So I'll bring it close to the mic so you can hear the sound. But in order to give it that theatricality for your audience, you can imagine a bird down on the ground and it takes flight. And you look really silly doing it, so there you go.